it's Thursday, and this week you guys submitted your suggestions as to what we should make, and then you all voted as well. So here those are, and as you can see, you guys all agreed that a raccoon pattern is the one that you are after. So this week we are going to be making this little accidentally entirely no-sew raccoon. Yeah, I'm a little confused as to how that happens as well. Look at this pose. Look at the poses this guy has. He's just like, oh, I'm just a chubby little guy with little clappy hands. But no, I am mischief. I am mischief incarnate. Also, guys, guess what? They stack. What mischief are you getting into there, sir? All right, let's talk tools and materials. So for today's project, you are going to need 8-ply 100% acrylic yarn, also known as DK, in 3 different colors. So you're going to need a small amount of white, mainly some gray, and then either a dark gray or black. Now, the only reason I'm using dark gray instead of black is because you will not be able to see what I'm actually doing if I use the black for filming. So dark gray it is for me. You will also need a 3.5mm hook, a pair of 9mm safety eyes, scissors, and some stuffing. Now, today's pattern is completely no-sew, but I do recommend having a needle with a scrap amount of black yarn available to you just to add the nose on at the end. Just as a quick disclaimer, this is a Complicated Knots video, which does mean we will be focusing on the tricky stuff and just sort of breezing past the basics. A written version of today's pattern will be made available to my patrons and will also be made available on Etsy, and I will leave links to both in the description down below for anybody who's interested. So for our little trash panda today, we are working him all in one piece. So that means we're going to start at the tip of the nose, focusing first on this head section. Now, there are quite a few color changes involved in this section, as well as a little bit of kind of interesting shaping going on. So we will be stepping through this first section relatively slowly. So we're going to start by grabbing our white and making a magic ring of 6. We're then going to work 6 single crochet around, changing to our gray in the 6th stitch. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're going to work our first color change in this 6th stitch. Okay, so to work color changes in this pattern, we always work the color change in the stitch before we need the new color to be active. So in this case, that is in the final stitch of row 2, changing to our gray. So I'll be referring to this as my gray, and I'll be referring to this as my black, just to calibrate us. So how we change colors is we insert our hook into the stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop of our old color, and then hold that color out of the way. Grab a strand of the color we are changing to, pinch it on the inside of the work at the base of the stitch, yarn over and pull through both loops. We then tug on the tails a little bit to scooch it down into position and tie those 2 ends off inside. And then just trim off your white. We will be needing it again in a minute, but trim it off for now. So that should leave you with a completed single crochet in your white, but your gray is now on your hook, ready to go. So starting row 3, we're going to begin forming the cheeks. So we'll start with an increase, 3 single crochet all into the same stitch, 1, 2, 3, 2 single crochet, 1 and 2, 3 single crochet all into the same stitch, and an increase to finish off our round. So that is what we currently look like. And you can trim off your white at this point. We will be reattaching to form the eyebrows later though. Okay, so in row 4, we're going to start forming the eye sockets. So we're going to start with an increase, changing to our black. So first stitch is normal, and the second stitch of your increase, you work your color change. Then in our black, we're going to work an increase, a single crochet, and then 3 single crochet all into the same stitch, changing back to our gray in the 3rd stitch. 2, and the 3rd one. Like so. So there is eye patch number 1. Then in our gray, we're going to work 3 single crochet, changing back to our black. 1, 2, 3. In our black, we're going to work 3 single crochet all into the same stitch, a single crochet, and then an increase, changing back to our gray. With our gray back on our hook, we're going to finish the row by working an increase and then a single crochet. And that should leave you with 20 stitches in your round. At this point, I am going to start using a stitch marker, if I can find one, just to mark the final stitch in the round. Will help keep me on track. And I'm going to trim off my black. So in row 5, we're going to start by working a single crochet, changing to our white. Like so. And the next thing we need to do is work 5 single crochet in the back loops only. So when we look down at our stitches, we can see that there are 2 loops, one on the side facing us and one on the side facing away. So the loop facing us is the front loop and the loop facing away from us is the back loop. So in our white, we are going to work 5 single crochet in the back loops only. So 1, 2, 3, so that's 4, and then in the 5th one, we're going to change back to our grey. With our grey back on our hook, we're going to go back to working through both loops, and we're going to put 3 single crochet into the same stitch. 1, 2, 3, 5 single crochet across the underside of the head, and then 3 single crochet into the same stitch, changing back to our white. With our white back on our hook, we're going to go back to working in the back loops only and work 5 single crochet, changing back to our grey in the 5th stitch. Leaving you with just 2 stitches in your round. Going back to working through both loops, we're going to put a single crochet into each of them. So 1 and 2. And there we are at the end of row 5. And row 6 is then just 24 single crochet around. 1, 2, 3, 23, and 24. So there we are at the end of row 6, and that brings us to the end of the face section. So row 7 starts with 2 single crochet, changing to our black in the 2nd stitch. So that's 1, and 2. Then with our black, working into the back loop only of the next stitch, we're going to put 5 single crochet into the same loop. 1, 2, 3, 4, and in this 5th one, we're changing back to our grey. 5. So that is the position of our first little ear. Once again in our grey, and going back to working through both loops, we're going to work 3 single crochet. 3. We're then going to start narrowing in the cheeks a little bit. So we do that by working a single crochet 3 together. There are 2 different ways to work this stitch. There's a standard way, which is when you insert your hook into the first stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop, insert your hook into the second stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop, and then insert your hook into the third stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop. This should leave you with 4 loops on your hook. You then just yarn over and pull through all 4, decreasing over 3 stitches. Now, I personally prefer to do invisible single crochet 3 togethers, which is just where you pick up the front loops only of the 3 stitches. You yarn over and pull up a loop through all 3, leaving you with just 2 loops on your hook, and then you yarn over and pull through the final 2 stitches. So that's how I'm going to be decreasing across my raccoon. You can use either method, it's just a personal preference thing. We're then going to work 7 single crochet across the bottom of the head. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then a second single crochet 3 together. So however you did that first one, use the same method to do the second one. We're then going to work 2 single crochet, changing back to our black in the 2nd stitch. Then working into the back loop only, we're going to put 5 single crochet all into that same loop. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then in the 5th one, changing back to our grey. Then it's just 2 single crochet back to the start of our round. 1 and 2. So I'm going to trim off my black at this point. And with those little ear nubs present, I'm going to insert my safety eyes. So the color changes that we've done are going to make this pretty simple. Basically, you need to insert your eyes into row 3 with 2 stitches visible in between them, but all that means is you pop them in right on this top edge of where we've done those little eye socket markings. So that's where I'm inserting my first one. I'll do the same thing on the other side. And that is where your eyes go. And you'll find this whole process a lot less stressful if you just embrace the fact that all creations are going to be a little bit wonky. Like I'm relatively sure at this point that I got those in straight, but as soon as I snap these backs on, we will discover that they're not at all straight and in fact are extremely wonky. But that's okay. It's just like that sometimes. No, that's pretty good still. So there are my eyes all snapped on. So now we need to continue into row 8 and finish building up these ears. So row 8 starts with 4 single crochet. 1, 2, 3 and 4, which should leave you with 3 black stitches left in your ear. And in the next one, we're going to put 3 single crochet all into the same stitch. 1, 2, 3. Then 4 single crochet down the side of the ear. 1 and 2, 3 and 4. A single crochet 3 together. 5 single crochet across the underside of the head. And 5. Another single crochet 3 together. Then 3 single crochet. 1, 2, 3. 3 single crochet all into the same stitch, and 4 single crochet back to the start of our round. So that's how we look at the end of row 8. I know I am asking you to trust the process a little bit, but it will work out. Row 9 starts with a decrease, then 2 single crochet, and then we're going to skip 3 stitches. So 1, 2, 3. And the 4th stitch from our hook is the next stitch we're going to work into. And we're going to work 3 more single crochet. So 1, 2, and 3. So make sure that your work points out towards the outside, not the inside, but that is going to form the little tip of our ear. We're then going to work a single crochet 3 together, just to really lock in those cheeks. 3 single crochet, 1, 2, 3, and a single crochet 3 together. Then it's just 2 single crochet up the ear, 1 and 2, and we're going to be skipping the next 3 stitches again. So 1, 2, 3, that's the 4th stitch from our hook, and it will be the next one we work into. And we're going to work 2 single crochet, 1 and 2, and then a decrease back to our starting point. So those ears should start poking out a little bit more, have a little bit more life of their own. Then in row 10, we're going to work 2 single crochet, 1 and 2. We're going to skip the next 4 stitches, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So the 5th stitch from our hook is the next stitch we're going to work into, and we're going to work a single crochet into that. We're then going to work 4 increases. Like so. So that's going to curve back out into the body for us. Then we're skipping the next 4 stitches again, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And we're going to work a single crochet into the final stitch of the round. So that should lock those 2 ears into a not perfectly symmetrical, but still very upright position. So that brings us to the back of the head. And at this point, I suggest you grab just a small amount of stuffing and you stuff the head just to make sure that it gets all the way down into the cheeks. You don't really need to stuff the ears. Like so. So from here, we're going to be working up the body, and we're going to split the body into a couple of chunks as well. So the first chunk will be these front legs, the second chunk will be the back legs, and then the third chunk will just be the tail. So row 11 starts with 6 repeats of a single crochet and then an increase. There's our first one, and we're going to repeat that the whole way around. Like so. So row 12 starts with 2 repeats of 2 single crochet, 1, 2, and an increase. So there's our first one, and we're going to do that again. We're then going to work 2 repeats of 2 single crochet, and then 5 single crochet into the same stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So there is our first one, and we're going to do that again. 2 single crochet, 1 and 2, being careful not to lose any stitches, and then 5 single crochet all into the same stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So that is the starting point of our 2 little front legs, and you should check to make sure that they are lining up roughly evenly underneath the chin. We're then going to work 2 repeats of 2 single crochet and an increase back to the start of our row, like so. Row 13 is very similar again, with 2 repeats of 3 single crochet and an increase, then 2 repeats of 4 single crochet, 5 single crochet into the same stitch, and then 2 single crochet. And finishing off the row with 2 repeats of an increase and then 3 single crochet. Okay, leaving you with 42 stitches in your round, and this is what my legs currently look like, right? I know it looks wrong. I do. I know it looks impossible right now that this is going to turn into anything. Please trust the process. So row 14 starts with 16 single crochet, changing to our black in the 16th stitch. 3, 4, 13, 14, 15, and this is the 16th stitch, so we'll work our color change. Then in our black, we're going to work 5 single crochet all into the same stitch. 3, that's 4, and then in our 5th one, we're changing back to our grey. So that's going to be our little front paw. Carry the black along with you. And then in our grey, we are going to work 10 single crochet across, changing back to our black in the 10th stitch. 8, 9, and this is the 10th one, changing back to our black. Then we're going to work 5 more single crochet all into the same stitch, changing back to our grey in the 5th stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is number 5. So with our grey back on our hook, we're going to work 14 single crochet back to our starting point. 1, 2, 3, 12, 13, and 14. Now at this point you can trim off your black. We won't be needing it again until the back feet. And that's what we look like from the inside and from the outside. And in the next row it's all going to start coming together. So row 15 starts with 16 single crochet. 1, 2, 3, 13, 14, 15, and 16. And that final stitch should fall in the last stitch before our first black stitch. We're then going to skip 5 stitches, which in this case is the 5 stitches of the foot. So the next stitch we'll work into is the next grey stitch around. And we're going to work 10 single crochet across the stomach. 1, 2, 9, and 10. Once again, we're going to be skipping the next 5 stitches, which should be all black or dark grey stitches, working our next single crochet into the next grey stitch around. And I do suggest that you full on fold your work over to make sure that this bridging stitch is as tightly worked as possible, just to stop there being any openings in your work. So skipping 5 stitches and then working 14 single crochet back to the start of our round. Okay, so currently we have our two little pawsies, 2 little feet formed, because he's happy and he knows it claps his hands. And we're going to spend the next 2 rows really locking in the backs of these legs. Row 16 starts with 13 single crochet, 2, 3, 12, and 13. So that should leave you 3 stitches before we've skipped for the foot. And the next stitch we're going to work is a single crochet 5 together. So we've done single crochet 3 togethers, and this is the same thing but over 5 stitches. So pick up your 5 loops, or insert your hook into each stitch and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through all loops, and then yarn over and finish your stitch. So there is a single crochet 5 together. We're then going to work 6 single crochet across the stomach and 6, and then we're going to work another single crochet 5 together. See how that starts to really emphasize the shape of these legs? And then it is just 11 single crochet back to the start of your round, leaving you with 32 stitches in total. 10 and 11. That's 32 stitches in total. Now row 17 is basically the same thing again, starting with 12 single crochet, then a single crochet 3 together, 4 single crochet, a single crochet 3 together, and 10 single crochet to the end of your row, leaving you with 28 stitches in total. So that's 28 stitches in our round, and those legs are looking nicely defined now. So as mentioned at the start, your head might twist quite a bit to one way. The nature of crochet stitches is you twist it back. Okay? Okay. Boop. We have just one more row to finish off this section, and it starts with an increase, 4 single crochet, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Another increase, and then 22 single crochet back around to the start of your row. 20, 21, and 22. And that should leave you with 30 stitches in your round, and that completes the front legs section of this pattern. I'm not going to stuff mine just yet. We're going to wait until we finish the back legs area. We're going to wait until we finish the back legs as well. Okay, so now we've got the hang of making the legs because we've made the front legs. The back legs are made pretty much exactly the same way. A few numbers different here and there, of course. So row 19 starts with 8 single crochet, an increase, and then 6 single crochet to get down to where we want the first leg to start. So there we go. That's my next stitch. It's sitting pretty close to directly behind our front leg there. We're going to work 5 single crochet all into the same stitch, then 5 single crochet, and 5 single crochet into the same stitch. We're then just going to work 7 single crochet and an increase to get back to the start of our round. Your row should be up to 40 stitches, and you should be able to see where those back legs are going to fall. And hopefully they're pointed at the ground, if everything's going correctly. So row 20 is basically the same thing again, with 8 single crochet, an increase, 2 repeats of 9 single crochet, and then 3 single crochet into the same stitch, and then 10 single crochet and an increase back to the start of your round, bringing you to 46 stitches. Then in row 21, we're going to build little feet. So we're going to start by working 20 single crochet around, changing to our black in the 20th stitch. I'm gonna level with you guys. I lost count. Hold on. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, good. Never mind. Resume. 10, 11, 18, 19, and 20. Reattaching our black. In our black, we're going to work 5 single crochet all into the same stitch, changing back to our grey in the 5th stitch. Then working over the top of your black to carry it across with us, we're going to work 11 single crochet across to the other side. 1, 2, 3, 9, 10, and 11. And in that 11th stitch, we are changing back to our black. Then in our black, we're going to work, once again, 5 single crochet into the same stitch, changing back to our grey. So there we go, final little foot. And from there, it is just 13 single crochet back to the start of our round. And we are now up to 54 stitches in our round. And thankfully we don't get any bigger than this. We're going to be narrowing off quite aggressively from here on out. You can trim off your black at this point, leaving you with just your grey attached. So row 22 starts with 20 single crochet. So that's 20 there. We're then going to skip the next 5 stitches, which will be all 5 black stitches, and work 11 single crochet across the belly. So that's 11, skipping the 5 stitches of our foot so that the next stitch we work into is the next grey stitch, and 13 single crochet back up to the start of our round. There we go. That's what his little pants look like at the moment. And the next few rows are going to look pretty familiar to you as we are just basically closing off the back here. Row 23 starts with 17 single crochet, 3, 16 and 17. We're then going to work 5 single crochet together, just like we did with the front legs. Like that. That's 7 single crochet across the belly. Single crochet 5 together. And 10 single crochet back to the start of our round. And 10, leaving us with just 36 stitches in our round. Then row 24 starts with a decrease, 5 single crochet, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then a decrease, 7 single crochet, 1, 2, 6 and 7, 3 together, 5 single crochet, 1, 2 and 5, single crochet 3 together, and then 9 single crochet back to the start of our round. 8 and 9. Then row 25, which is the last row of this back legs section, starts with 7 decreases. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. Then a single crochet 3 together, 3 single crochet, another single crochet 3 together, a single crochet, and then 3 decreases back to the start of our round. 1, 2 and 3. Now that should leave you with just 16 stitches left in your round, and at this point I consider those back legs done, and we're going to grab some stuffing and we're going to stuff it. Now you should be extra careful to work a little bit of stuffing down into each one of those legs, but then otherwise just kind of stuff the body until it's nice and chunky. Okay, so now we are entering the final section, which is the tail. So row 26 starts with 4 decreases, 1, 2, 3 and 4. We're then going to work 4 single crochet and 4, and then just 2 decreases back to our starting point. 2, so that should leave you with just 10 stitches in your round. Row 27 is then 2 decreases, 2, a single crochet, 2 increases just to start the curve of the tail. So that's 2, then a single crochet and a decrease, bringing you down to just 9 stitches in your round. So we're going to work 9 single crochet around in our grey, changing to our black in the 9th stitch. So 1, 2, 3, 8, and this is stitch 9. And then in our black, we're going to work 9 single crochet around, changing to our white in the 9th stitch. So we're basically going to keep working rows of 9 single crochet, working 1 black row, then 2 white rows. And we're going to do that until we have 5 black stripes in total. Because I looked it up and it looks like every raccoon I looked at had 5 black stripes on its tail. Is that a thing? Is it a coincidence? In any case, it's what we're doing here today. And there we go. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 black rows there and 2 rows of white between them. So I'm going to trim off my grey. I'm going to trim off my white. And before we work the final row, you have the chance to stuff a little bit of stuffing down inside this tail if you would like to. I'm just going to put a little bit in. I would encourage you not to stuff this piece too firmly, but a little bit of squish can be nice. There we go. And now we work our final row, still in our black, of 3 repeats of a single crochet and a decrease. It's 1, 2, and 3, and finish off. Now this will leave you with a tiny opening at the tip of your tail. I want you to take your remaining strand and just pull it through the front loops only of each of those remaining stitches. There we go. And tuck that end away inside. Okay, so there is our little fellow. And while this is a no-sew pattern, I am going to just take a second and stitch on a little nose. So I'm going to grab my needle with just a tiny little scrap of black. And you really want to stitch this nose right into the middle. So I've got a few noses here as an example. So when you get it in the middle, it looks a little bit more like a raccoon. When you put it too close to the top, it starts to look a little bit more like a cat to me. Is it a mischief of raccoons? What's a group of raccoons called? I know that the pluralization is probably something really fun. A burglary? Burglary of raccoons? A trash of pandas. I'm just going to stitch over the top of that middle point a couple of times until I've built up a little bit of a nose. Now by default, your raccoon is in a standing position. However, you can absolutely adjust it so that he's sitting on his little rump. And all you would have to do is pin and sew the head into a slightly more forward-facing position and then pass the little guy a cookie. You know what I mean? Like stretch that head down into more of an upright position and then they can like bother one another a little bit. Honestly, you could even just prop them that way. So there is our finished no-sew trash panda, and it really is no-sew. I think this final tail is my favorite, which is why it got included in this pattern, though we did go through the ringer a little bit. Originally, I was going to do a slightly more cartoony version, but so that's where the trash can came from. This is just going to amuse me pretty endlessly. I just think that they are really, really cute, and also they stack pretty stably as well. Honestly, the creation process for this one here felt a lot like witchcraft. I just sort of sat down to make one and it just sort of accidentally became no-sew. So I guess that's a thing that happens now. But I don't even think they're that hard for what they are. But you can let me know in the comments. Feel free to leave any requests for future patterns in the comment section down below. And maybe they'll come up in the next Not My Idea poll. But other than that, I'll see you next week. Okay, bye! It's not quite the right angle now, is it? Drama? Yeah, I didn't make him no-sew on purpose. It just sort of turned out that way. But I can't be angry at it. He's an absolute unit of a raccoon. So. That's just how these things go. Gosh, you're cute though. Look at you. Just a little dumpling of a fellow. I can't look at you anymore. Go over there. There's a fly in here. Ignore it. Ignore the fly. I'm sorry about the fly. It's going to fly in front of the camera. There's nothing I can do about it. Welcome to Australia. So, row 23, 4, just like we did with the front leg. I swear, this fly is gonna be the end of me. First I gotta find a bobby pin. You'd think that'd be easy, but nope. Bits of this are gonna look really weird. Oh, caught up in my stitch marker. There we go. Row 16 is 13. Oh no, you probably need my help with those stitches. So leaving us with just 44 stitches in our leaving us with just 36 stitches in our round. Move them out the way because I am extremely tangled up. Whee! There we go. You enjoying the witchcraft so far? I kind of am.